It is. Truly is. You go figure. Yep. I mean,
She just looks like she's doing well. She's like all over it.
I'll tell you.
Piggy.
No time soon. She won't have it. She is there too.
Why? What is with your girl?
She's not ready. No, maybe a year.
Let her start working.
That's good.
Lucas, is Lucas still with you?
That's good. Thank you very much. Dear friends, our fellow congregants back home on live stream, they're anxious for us to begin. So let's do just that. I'm most grateful to those of you who are here in person in the, literally and figuratively, the warmth of our Molish sanctuary this hot summer's day. Welcome to our Kabbalat Shabbat service. We also want to greet, I hope, a good number of fellow Bethomnics who are on live stream. We are delighted to welcome each and every one of you and visitors alike as well. We're going to begin on page 6, towards the bottom of page 6, before I have all of you join with me in song. But that's after this opening reading. As we read responsively, may the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love and all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture. May the doors of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. For those of you who are not altogether familiar with the 5 words, on page 10, you will find them there. Otherwise, I invite all of you to join with me in chorus. Maya fe hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya fe hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Od pam once more. Maya fe hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya fe hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Which reminds me, would you please greet one another with a Shabbat Shalom or a good Shabbos? Good Shabbos once again, dear friends. Haddakat Neirot Shabbat for the kindling of our Shabbat candles. As we turn back to page 3, it's my great pleasure to call upon our dear friend, beloved Bethomnic, Florence Blaker, to please step forward. And if you are able to, we invite you please to rise. Page 3.
As the As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with the mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Good Shabbos, good Florence. Good Shabbat. We'll enjoy a communal expression of Kiddush and Motzi outside after the conclusion of Kabbalat Shabbat. You're welcome to be seated. Invite you to join with me in our beloved Erev Shabbat anthem, L'cha Dodi, pages 20 and 21. L'cha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nehekabela, L'cha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nehekabela. Shahamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litihila. L'cha dodi dodi, L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekahabela. L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekahabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'neocha, Ki hi makor haberacha, Mehirosh mikedem nesucha, Saf ma'aseh b'makshavat chila. L'cha dodi, L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. Hitoreri, Ki vaoreku mi ori, Uri, shir da behiri, Kavod Adonai halayich nigla. L'cha dodi, L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. Boi v'shalom mahateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala. L'cha dodi, L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. L'cha dodi l'krahat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekahabela. We welcome the Malachei Hasharet, God's ministering angels, who thankfully bring each and every one of us this neshama yetira, this extra additional soul that tides us through the 25-hour period of Shabbat. Page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויאמר דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בהגלה, בהגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדושה. בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעולמה, ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אהו חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה מצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. Together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, and I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuta Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 39, as we read together, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, בוקר ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדדנה את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu beitza tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu l'ma'an shemecha. Together, give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamaru v'hnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. It's a South African melody. That's why I love it. Although the chazan, God bless, I wish he were here. We're on page 46 as we rise for the tefillah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shmo B'Yahava, Melech Hozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Ata, Rav Lo Shihya, Morid HaTal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umkayim Emunato Lishenei Afa, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mimit Umchaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Nata Lachayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Ata Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'chol yom yalalu chasela. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue now, Belachash, silently, all the way through to page 62. Those of you who need to be seated at this time, please feel free, if you would. Otherwise, we'll join together in just a few moments. Silently through page 62. Shalom. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yahaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Birkat Refuah, the prayer for healing, page 253. Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. Hu yivarech et hacholim hahem, HaKodesh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim alehem, lachlimam urapotam ulachzikam, v'yishlach mehira refuah, refuah shlema min hashamayim, ruafat hanefesh uruafat haguf, betoch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, hashat ba'agla, ufisman kariv, v'nomar. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal as we call to mind this Shabbat, Mitch Anderman, Cynthia Baylor, Sandy Chernow, Zamful Yossel ben Shmuel Dovid, Andy Dorfman, Sheila Evans, Lou Geddes, Stuart Geddes, Brian Geiger, Eileen Green, Raymond Grinald, Sean Haas, Paige Kaufman, David Lieberman, Spencer Liebowitz, Rosanna Moses, Gershona Benyamina Batsorova Levi, Stan Oliver, Sherry Panicelli, Vagia Partielli, Sharon Paul, Kelly Quagliotti, Rebetza David Rachmiel Ben Sara Valevi, Vicky Richmond, Linda Scussel, Molly Tinkleman, Jack Velkoff, and Judy Weiss. If there are any other names that you'd like to publicly mention at this point, please feel free to do so if you would. Larry? Thank you. Sorah Khana? Thank you. Linda? Thank you. Jay? Thank you very much. Please, Karen. Thank you. Sandy. Thank you. Rini. Thank you. Elliot. Thank you very much. Bev. Thank you. Ellen. Uri? Paula? Thank you. Thank you. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and for their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send each a refuah shlema, a complete renewal of guf, of body, and of neshama, and of soul. And let us say, Amen. Together. Mi sheberach avotenu Makor ha-bracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, Makor ha-bracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleima, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Thank you. From Birkat Refuah to Birkat HaChodesh, the blessing for the all-important new month of Elul. Hard to believe. Page 261. Page 261. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'leheavotenu v'imotenu, shetchadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba, letova v'livracha, v'titen lanu chayim marukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel parnasa, chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chayim shemalu mishalot libenu letova v'nomar. Amen. Together, our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Betham Rosh Chodesh Elul, Yeh B'Yom Shabbat, the new month of Elul in which we usher in Rosh Hashanah, will begin next Friday at sundown. Yechadasheu HaKadosh Baruch Hu aleinu v'al kol amo Beit Yisrael, l'chayim u'l'shalom, l'sason u'l'simcha, l'yeshua u'l'nechama v'nomar. Amen. God of holiness, let the new month bring for us and for the whole house of Israel life and peace, happiness and joy, deliverance and comfort. And to that let us all say, Amen ve'amen. Okay. Give me one moment, please, if you would. Okay. Good Shabbos, once again. Shabbat Shalom to you, dear friends. And of course, we want to welcome all of our fellow congregants who are on live stream this evening. So I've got some show and tell. I don't usually have, but tonight I do. Was ist das? What is this? Now, by the way, so I had an early Kabbalat Shabbat down below in the auditorium at Rydal Park. You know, we do it on the third Friday of every month. Anyhow, I showed this to them. We had a very good attendance, probably the best ever, wonderful. 1/3 of whom were fellow Bethamniks, so that was very, very reassuring. But none of them were able to answer my question. Was ist das? Oh, I'm sorry, what is this? Okay. So, forgive me, because Barry, as I go down for the step, I don't believe our fellow Bethamniks will be able to see. You know what this is. Each and every one of you know what this is. I tell you, say it again aloud. You are absolutely correct, Richard. So this is the cloth, right? Forgive me. I'm going to come back. I have to come back. Yes. Because of the folk on live stream. Jean and the cloth. So this is the kosher parchment that is put into a mezuzah. Obviously, it's significantly enlarged, right? As you well know, cloth. Look. So the fact of the matter is that, as you know, our sisterhood-run gift shop, they sell beautiful mezuzahs and klapim as well. The cloth used to be $18. Eileen mentioned to me recently it's gone way up in price, apparently. But no matter the size of the cloth, there are small klapim, there are large klapim, depending, of course, on the size of the casement. Is that the right word? Or the actual box, the mezuzah itself. But nevertheless, each and every cloth is identical. It contains 2 paragraphs. So I want to do this very briefly because I'm going to be doing this in much more detail upstairs at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you're intrigued, either you'll be with us in person or no, you'll join us on Zoom. Thank you, on Zoom. So the first shorter paragraph, the first 6 lines, is from last Shabbat Sedra Va'etchanan, namely Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 9. Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 is none other than the good, than the Shema. And then, of course, verses 5 through 9 is the Ve'ahavta passage, which we did previously. It's the first of the 3 constituent passages of what is referred to liturgically as Shema Uvirchoteha. The Shema and its 3 constituent liturgical paragraphs, which of course are all from the Torah. We're going to be discussing tomorrow morning. I'm not saying that we haven't done before. We have, but it could well have been some time ago. We're going to be discussing the second longer paragraph, lines 7 through 22. Very interesting. There are always 22 lines on a clough. Think about that and the symbolism. So why am I showing this to you now tonight? This clough, enlarged for show and tell, because the second longer paragraph, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 13 through 21, is to be found towards the end of tomorrow morning's Sedra, Parashat Ekev. It's, from a non-Orthodox point of view, it's highly problematic. And you will still not find it in our latest liturgical publication, Mishkan Tefillah. Now, what's interesting, I don't want to complicate matters, we've always had the first paragraph in its entirety. Now, in Mishkan Tefillah, we have the third and last paragraph in its entirety, but still this second longer paragraph of the 3 is still deleted. It's been removed. And I hope that I'm going to demonstrate by the end of Torah study tomorrow morning that was on behalf of our American rabbinic reform liturgists who put together an otherwise, I believe, superb Siddur, that they made a strategic mistake. Philosophically, theologically, ecologically, architecturally, climatically, that they made a grievous error in having deleted this paragraph. Anyhow, but that's for tomorrow morning, if that whets your appetite. So that's the clough, right? Found in the mezuzah. Don't forget, by the way, the rabbis remind us that a mezuzah, that the clough should be examined, particularly the one on the outside, twice every 7 years. So if you haven't done that, you better get to it. Or call me to come around to your house, and I'll be sure to check it. But I want to say this evening that shortly, within the next month, quietly, reverently, but with great dignity, we are going to add 3 more mezuzot to the entrances to our beloved Molish sanctuary. By that I mean the main entrance door, on the lintel, right? And that entrance, right? And that entrance at the back. I'm not including, of course, the door, in the auditorium. But we're going to place very, very carefully and deliberately at a very low height, 3 matching mezuzot. Designed, executed by none other than our very own fellow Bethamnik and renowned Judaica metallurgist, Joy Stember, who is taking care, by the way, of the new, radically new, different Eitz Chaim, Tree of Life, which is the next large mural to be placed in the lobby. These these have 3 different finishes, but they come from the same mezuzah collection from Joy. Each and every one of them is ready to be put up. You can see the kosher clough in each one. There it is. And you can see a Shaddai, right? You only see Shin, Dalud, Yud on the reverse side of the clough. She's put them in correctly. These are really, really beautiful. These are a gift to Betham from past president Joanne Levin and her husband Alan, good friends, past president Karen Meal and her husband Drew, and their very good friends, fellow congregants, Robin and Michael Berman. We are very grateful to all of you for these precious gifts that are going to be placed strategically at a low height, allowing those fellow Bethamniks who physically and otherwise, some confined to wheelchairs, do not have the opportunity to be able to obviously reach at a conventional height to touch a mezuzah. But these will be so low that they will be able to do just that, including, of course, the little kids, if I might say, in our mensch lab, in our preschool, as well. These will be affixed in a beautiful ritual ceremony, together with the members of our executive and general board who will be present shortly, in loving memory of the late Rabbi Miriam Polan Ferraro, Zichrono Livracha, who, as some of you will remember, was our distinguished educational director from, if I remember correctly, 2005 through 2000, no, you have to remind me, 95 to 2015 to 2015, a very lengthy period of time. So we're very grateful to you for these beautiful, beautiful mezuzot. So I have to mention to all of you that there was a time when I'd come home from Israel, either with mezuzahs, but usually made of Jerusalem stone. So, show and tell. So this is a gift to myself that I purchased a long, long time ago on a Beth Am congregational tour to Israel. It is, of course, the work of the distinguished Israeli artist, Frank Meisler, as you can see, right, Frank Meisler. And it's my mezuzah that I keep in my office. It can't be attached, it's to a wall, it's not for that. It's for decorative purposes, with, of course, as you can see, on Jerusalem stone. So I truly, with a kosher cloth, but I truly treasure this very much indeed. Im eshkechech Yerushalayim tishkach yamini. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, may my right hand wither. So I'm very proud of that, of my Frank Meisler mezuzah. And then, of course, I also used to bring home from Israel, as I'm sure many of you did as well, like olive wood, tzedakah boxes, and other tchotchkes as well, too, for that matter. But these days, my preferences have changed. Now I am more inclined to want to buy chamses of one kind or another. And I have to admit, forgive me, not necessarily as gifts for others, but rather for Randy and I. On one of the walls in our home, we have a relatively large collection of charming and colorful and beautiful and elegant hand-shaped amulets. And admittedly, our collection keeps on growing. I subscribe, as I know some of you do as well, to TOI, to Times of Israel. And just this week, I came across a short but delightful article by Andrew Silo Carroll, the editor-in-chief of the New York Jewish Week and the senior editor of the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. And the article is entitled "The Particular Jewish Meaning of My Chamsa Collection." And he does admit at the outset that the Chamsa's Jewish roots are slightly tenuous, or at least second-hand. The so-called hand of Fatima is a Muslim symbol, perhaps pagan before that, and possibly Christian. According to one particular interpretation, the 5 fingers, of course, of the Chamsa are meant to, if you like, represent the 5 pillars of Islam: faith and fasting and pilgrimage and prayer and tithing. And like a number of other customs or folk customs, it was eventually absorbed, if you like, into Sephardic Jewish culture in the lands where Jews and Muslims happily, peacefully coexisted once upon a time with one another, side by side. And so eventually came to suggest, if you like, for Jews, the hand of God, or a talisman, if you like, used to ward off the Ain Hara, or the evil eye. I have, he wrote, khamsas with an eye motif worked into the palm of the hand, others as well with fish designs, Jewish symbols of both fertility and of good luck. And the author admitted something that I must admit I hadn't fully thought of myself. His khamsa collection doesn't have, he wrote, overtly Jewish symbols. I avoid, he wrote, the ones with Stars of David or menorah decorations. To some degree, that's my rebellion against Jewish kitsch, the gaudy, insistent aesthetic that I usually associate with old-fashioned synagogue Judaica shops. Eileen, Nancy, Joyce, I wouldn't. Not for one moment would I accuse our gift shop of being at all old-fashioned. And he says of well-meaning bar and bat mitzvah presents. On the contrary, his khamsas support the multicultural Israel that includes Jews and Arabs, Ashkenazim and Sephardim. Cool Jews like me, he writes, don't display exclusionary tchotchkes studded with Jewish stars or hang paintings of bearded dancing chosids. I mean, I have lots of Judaica with both. We just don't put them on the top shelf. So Andrew Seiler Carroll reminds us that there is a whole field of scholarship that examines the deep meanings of everyday objects. Even Mordechai Kaplan, the influential 20th century rabbi and founder of the Reconstructionist movement, not generally known for his interest in the material side of Jewish life, he counseled Jews to fill their homes with Jewish signifiers. Jewish appointments are intended to convey a moral statement that went far beyond the physical. In other words, manifestations of group identity. They serve as constant reminders of ideals and of practices. Ashkenazi Jews, that's you and me, for the most part. Embrace the Khamsa, who embrace the Khamsa, as we do, as I do, as a symbol of Jewish or Zionist pride, should be aware, indeed must be aware, of and acknowledge its distinct meaning for Jews from the Middle East, and certainly from North Africa. And so he concludes his relatively short article as follows, and I want to share this with you. It's very short because I really love it. Quote, I prefer to think of the Khamsa as a wonderfully ecumenical symbol. The hand is a blank canvas on which artists can project their own meanings and the wearer their own statements. My statement, he concludes, is also extremely hopeful. The open hand celebrates Israel's unlikely blend of cultures and of faiths, even as it wards off those who refuse to accommodate coexistence. So I rather love that interpretation of the Khamsa, and as I promised, I didn't tell Randy I was doing this, by the way, but I took just a couple of Khamsas out of my out of the wall. So this one I particularly love. It's really, really beautiful and very, very fine and delicate. It's the work of the well-known Israeli artist Ahuva Ilanei, and I think that I got this from it was either a CCR convention or a URJ biennial, but very, very beautiful and very distinct and very, very different. And then this one over here, so it hangs like this, very, very lovely. The work of Iris, she's a very well-known Israeli artist. I was drawn to this, I guess, the turquoise, and I just very, very beautiful. Please, if you want to add your own commentary or interpretation, you're more than welcome to do that. This, on the other hand, is, if you like, a rosé khamsa, Magen David, as you can see. And I think there in the middle, we've got, if you can see this, I don't know, maybe. You know, Piper and Sierra. Piper and Sierra, can you come up? Can you come here if you wouldn't mind? Would you come up here? Here, you can take these khamsas so that folk can see them. Show these around if you would, and wait for this one too. There's, if you like, maybe the 12, representing the 12 tribes in the middle. And because that looks like a windmill, that reminds me immediately of the Montefiore windmill, Mishkanot Sha'aninim in Yerushalayim. Here, do you want to take this one? Be very, very, very careful with that one, please, if you would. But if anyone wants to see them, they're more than welcome. Here, this very lovely one, which mazel, as in luck, briut, health, ahava, love, and shefa, uri shefa, prosperity, right? I think prosperity. So I rather love, that's Iris as well. I rather love that one. Here we've got from Sharon Amir, another Israeli artist, again, turquoise or in blue. And here in the middle, this decal, the Shema. It's very beautiful. You've got the Shema right over there. There, if you like, once again, you can see the ayin, the I in the middle, right over there. So I rather like that one too. And then finally, who's the artist? She was in Israel and, of course, internationally once upon a time. I don't know if she's so popular today. I hope that she is. But who was that? Yeah, Cindy, you're absolutely correct. Yep, it's a Michal Negrin. You all remember, right? Michal Negrin. And I think I purchased this at Ben Gurion Airport before we left. May this home be a place of happiness and health, of contentment and generosity and hope, a home of creativity and kindness. May those who visit and those who live here know only blessing and peace. So I think I purchased this at the Michal Negrin store at Ben Gurion Airport, which is really impressive. Very, very impressive. All right, thank you very much, Piper. Thank you. Anyhow, so just a small collection of khamsas that I wanted to share with you. And to remind us all, by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. Rabbis need to indulge in PR as well. We really have, a wonderfully stocked gift shop. There are numerous mezuzot and kosher klapim, and I have it on good authority, there are many khamsas to be had as well. So just a little bit of show and tell, and whether it's, again, a khamsa or whether it is a mezuzah, these are the overtly distinct, unique Jewish home rituals to which we are wedded and to which we bind our lives into, please God, for us all, a tapestry, a rich tapestry of health and of happiness. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. We are going to continue with Aleinu. We're going to continue with Aleinu on page 282. It's my great pleasure to call upon Audrey and Arnie Gelb, together with Rob and Courtney, to please step forward at this time. Second Hebrew paragraph, page 282. Thank you very much, Piper. Thank you. I appreciate that. So thank you. Please join with me if you would. Ronnie, join your beloved if you would. We can have you two here as well. It's an award-winning honor. I'm very proud of it. Very, very proud of it. Thank you. Together. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Page 292. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust in the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction, he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and our concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Lani Friebowitz and Frank M. Kazmarski, who passed away during Shloshim this past month. Dear Jen, Sierra, Aaron, Eileen and Elliot, and all of your loved ones, our heartfelt thoughts and prayers are very much with you at this time of unspeakable sorrow, unmentionable grief. On behalf of your fellow Bethomnics, we offer you our deepest sympathy. This evening, we also call to mind Sadie Abrams, Cheryl Anderman, Herman Auerbach, Samuel Backel, Marion Barnett, Selma Baumrin, Joe Becker, Rosa Boulder, Harry Channon, Bessie Chodash, Manuel Manny Felkoff, Joseph Fleischman, Phyllis Garshman, Harry Goldenberg, Herman Marcus Golov, Herbert Grant, Stephen Kalstein, Joseph S. Kaplan, Alan Katz, Donald Kenny, Juliet Klugman, Max Colin, Joyce Kravitz, Minnie Levin, S. Samuel Levick, Marvin Levin, Lena Lipschitz, Hillard Madway, Saul Marcus, Esther Maurer, Jack Miller, Aranita Michnak, Claire Portner, Gloria Ratko, David Rayner, Edwin Roman, Thelma Rosenberg, Clarence Rosenblatt, Benjamin Rossoff, Marion Louise Saltzman, Albert Semberg, Maureen Simmons, Elizabeth Spiegel, Herman Steinberg, Seymour Steinberg, Fanny Stutman, Murray Sussman, Beatrice Tauber, Andrea Lynn Tesla, William Tornberg, Philip H. Weinberg, Melvin Weiss, Gertrude Welsh, David Yankelovitz, Joseph Zamek, and Selma Zucker, whose Yortzeiten occurred during the course of this past week, and all those other dear ones whom we now remember with tender affection. Together as always with the 6 million of our martyred brethren who perished in the Shoah, and all those who gave their lives and who continue to give their lives in defense of Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel, and of these United States. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. Yit gadal v'yit gadash mei rabba, amen. Bioma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau fisman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba muvarach liolam ulalmei, yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit po'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar v'yit taleh v'yit talal, shmei d'kudashah brichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'olma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlamar rabbamin shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven and life for us and all Israel, to which we say, amen. And may the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And to that let us say, amen. Would you please be seated? It's my pleasure to call upon our president, Josh Posnan, and the first daughter, Piper, to bring greetings and announcements. I'm not sure who it's going to be, mind you.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Everyone who's here and who's joining us on live stream tonight. Piper's going to start.
Torah study tomorrow at 9, followed by peer-led service at 10 a.m. Sisterhood Mahjong continues in person on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m.
The 75th anniversary cookbook is here. We have copies in the gift shop, not in the gift shop, in the office. If you would like to go to the gift shop, feel free as well. They're $25 a piece. Make sure to get your copy with all of your friends' favorite recipes, and maybe even find out their secret ingredient. ShulCloud, ShulCloud, ShulCloud. If you have not yet activated your account, please make sure to do so as soon as you can. It is the place to see and update all your information. Pay your bills, make donations, sign up for events. You can't get the cookbook on ShulCloud, though. You have to go to the office. And for this year, for the first day of Rosh Hashanah, Kol Nidre, and Yom Kippur morning, the services that you usually would need tickets for, you're going to need to have access to ShulCloud in order to see them on the live stream. Or join us right here, which would be wonderful to see all your faces. If you do need any help getting on to ShulCloud, our staff in the office would be more than happy to help you.
And don't forget to pick up your high holiday swag bag from the office with some goodies for a sweet new year. They are available now through September 2nd.
Fall is coming. Make sure to save the date for Betham's first annual Apple Fest. Saturday, September 10th, from 5 to 8 p.m. There'll be food trucks featuring Kona Ice, a DJ, a sisterhood-sponsored baking contest, art projects, and inflatables. An entry form for the baking contest is linked in this past Tuesday's email. The free event promises to be a night of fun for the entire family. Saturday, September 17th, we are dedicating our new kitchen, as well as the Jan Black walkway. Light fare and refreshments will be served, so you must RSVP in advance on ShulCloud. Following the dedication, our hopefully outdoor Slichot service will take place.
Saturday morning, September 18th, Sunday morning, September 18th, Sisterhood presents the story of Estee Lauder
Close enough. I know.
with guest speaker Maxine Goldman. RSVP in advance to Nancy Chesson. Make sure to bring non-perishable food items when you come into the temple to support Social Action's ongoing collection for the Jenkintown Food Cupboard. Bins are at the back door.
And that's it. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Piper? Piper, I think you're a future president. You never know. You just never know. And where will Kiddush Motzi be, Barry? Not in the outside. Outside, wonderful. I look very forward to meeting and greeting you there. But before we do that, we are going to conclude with a wonderful piyut, which can be found on page 328. Cantor has certainly led us in this, and I hope it's a wonderful melody as well, and entirely appropriate for Shabbat. Page 328, Ein Adir. You'll recognize it. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Ein Adir k'Adonai, ve'ein Baruch ve'ein Amram, ein Gedola k'Torah, ve'ein Darshaneha k'Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. I don't hear you. Ein Hadur k'Adonai, ve'ein Vatik ve'ein Amram, ein Zakar k'Torah, ve'ein Chachameha k'Yisrael. The refrain, Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Ein Tahor k'Adonai, ve'ein Yachid ve'ein Amram, ein Kabira k'Torah, ve'ein Lamdaneha k'Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Ein Podeh k'Adonai, ve'ein Tzadik ve'ein Amram, ein Kedosha k'Torah, ve'ein Tomacheha k'Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel, mipiel, Yevorach kol Yisrael. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom to every... Would you turn round, Barry, it's still live, right? We're still live? Would you turn round, folk, and in a gesture of goodwill, would you please wave to all our fellow Bethamniks on live stream at this time? Good Shabbos to you all. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. Yes, you may. Of course you can. Absolutely. You may certainly. Of course.